Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Mindspace TV. I am Fifi Peters. In the series, we will be looking at wisdom from entrepreneurs. We'll bring you insights into products for your retirement, products for disability and capital investment. And also we'll share tools to help you grow your business. The whole aim is to help you enrich your thinking.
A woman who believes in the power of people. Vuyo goes from fiction to reality. An expert shares his insights into various aspects of employee disability benefits.
To coincide with the launch of Mindspace TV, Old Mutual has had a very busy and exciting week, making its much anticipated return back to the JSE as a standalone company. I have here with me the man on top of the helm, that is CEO Peter Moyo. I'd like to begin with the first question about how you are feeling, because the managed separation of the group has been quite a journey. But how are you feeling about the listing on the JSE and everything just coming to fruition?
I must say, what we saw last night and today really was above my own expectations. So I've got a very, very good feeling about yesterday. And today, our listing, our people were excited. I was excited. On the other hand, it actually just hit me when I was at the JSE that now our team are solely responsible for that share price. And the issue for me is the responsibility that it actually puts on us, the responsibility that it puts on the 31,000 of us, that we actually have to go out there and be successful.
So we were talking about the responsibility and how it is in your hands to ensure that that share price increases in value for your shareholders and ultimately for the people that work for you too. How are you going to do that?
Well, the starting point, there's actually only one way that I know of managing a share price. You have to do what you ought to do and what you said you're going to do. So we've got to be clear on what we ought to do. I think as an organization, I'm comfortable that we are all clear. We've actually spent quite a lot of time talking about what we have to do. We have to ensure, and that's the role of the leadership team, to ensure that we capacitate our people to know how they've got to do it, and then we manage it. We're clear on our 8 battlegrounds. We know what we have to do. We've got to ensure that we know exactly how to do it and when to do it and actually deliver against the things that we said. I've just come out of a management meeting. We're actually reflecting on our listing and we're saying the starting point is that on all the things that we said we're going to do on a red, amber, green evaluation, all of them should actually be green. Then we know we're winning. And so you actually have to go down into the details of each of the things that we've got to do every day. How we grow the number of our customers. We've got 12 million customers. We've got to grow that.
How?
On average, firstly, we have the strongest face-to-face distribution in just about every region that we operate in. We've got to push the productivity levels of our people. We've got to improve the case size. We also have to ensure that where we're acquiring customers through other means, we actually increase our customer acquisitions, but actually make sure that we do not lose any customers. We've got to use our customer base as a source of competitive advantage, together with the size of our footprint, together with the number of our agents, making sure that we become efficient in everything that we do. It's efficient in the way that we acquire customers. So we've got to say to ourselves, as an advisor, my productivity levels in MFC must actually move to much higher numbers, in our PF to much higher numbers, from what we get from our brokers, much higher numbers. Yeah.
Will part of that growth include venturing into a new field?
Well,
maybe let
me also get back to another thing. You also can't talk about moving from 1.7 needs per customer to more if your own suite of solutions to clients is not modern and relevant. So we actually have to make sure that our products work. We've got to make sure that the state of our technology, how we get to our customers, how we touch the new customers, is actually in the way that our customers want to be dealt with. Because I mean, if a customer wants to deal with you digitally, if you don't offer that channel, they will not deal with you.
All right, so you're looking at new products, more modern and more relevant products. What about more businesses? I mean, acquisitions on the card for part of that growth?
Well, we've actually been quite clear that in the 13 countries that we operate in, there is some work to be done, hence our 8 battlegrounds. We need to put our heads down and actually look at delivering very well. For now, acquisitions are not the thing that we talk about in the group. We actually have enough on our plates.
Thank you very much, Peter. Up next after the break, a woman with a personality as bubbly as the award she has won.
Pushing boundaries and opening up opportunities for others is what fulfills businesswoman Amanda Dambuza.
I started owning multiple small businesses as early as the 2000s, and from owning a flower shop to a hair salon and right up to my professional businesses. I've had so many highs and really lots of lows as well. When you're in this line of work, it does tend to be up and down. Some of my highs were definitely starting my professional business, which I run now as a professional outfit when I registered it in 2013. I started most of my businesses while I was still in corporate, just to make sure that I can set them up for me to run them properly after that. And staying in corporate really allowed me the time and the stability to be a mother and to be able to be there for my kids when they needed me. And as a mother, you are always willing to make quite a lot of sacrifices to make sure that you're there for your children. And throughout my corporate career, I was quite happy to step down from executive and large roles every time I was going to have a baby. I really wanted to own my time. I wanted to drive my own agenda. I wanted to do things that I wanted to do, pick up causes that I wanted to pick up, and not be confined by a system. It was very exciting in 2016 when I was nominated for the Verve Clicquot Award in collaboration with Old Mutual and Elle magazine, and it was really such an exciting time for me in business. And unfortunately, I was out of the country when the interviews and finalists were announced, so I had to drop out in 2016. But I gave myself a chance again in 2017, made sure I wasn't traveling around the time of the awards, so it was really a good decision to have made. To be honest, on the evening when they announce your name, it's just such a surreal experience, and it doesn't kick in until the next day. And I mean, from the moment you're announced, you then whisked to interviews and cameras and action, and you get home at midnight and you're thinking about it. And I just couldn't sleep that night. I was so excited, and the days to come, it was like an oyster. My world just opened up. My years in IT were amazing. It is still a male-dominated industry, and as a woman, you have to find many ways to interact with your colleagues to make sure that you can succeed. And I learned resilience. I learned to be politically savvy. I learned how to work within your ecosystem to get the desired outcome. When we have a potential client or an opportunity that presents itself, my team and I sit down and assess the opportunity and see that do we have the strength and the capacity to deliver on that opportunity. And we then weigh it up against a predetermined set of criteria, and if we believe we are not in a position to deliver on it to the best of our ability, we do pass or we partner with other people. So at the core of what we do is project management, and we execute large transformation programs and medium-sized projects on behalf of our clients. So we say we breathe life into strategy, and we've done this in even countries outside of South Africa. We've done some work in Botswana, and we are exploring other opportunities outside as well. There's many ways that I keep the team motivated. One, I encourage them to just be the best that can be in their job, that they're allowed to make mistakes, and that actually, you know what, we need to have fun whilst doing this job. And I'm always here to make sure that I support them. I buy them lunches. Sometimes I have to bribe them. I really look for people with character, with a dynamic personality, people who are savvy, who can really thrive under difficult conditions or circumstances, people who've got a positive outlook on life. Technical abilities are not always the most important. I also look for people who are better at most things than I am because they add value to the organization. It's very important for me that my employees have time off and that they can run out of the office and do what they need to do. They have family responsibilities and it's okay for them to go and do that because I know they're professionals and they'll always be back to do what they need to do. Outcomes matter. Well, the beautiful thing about the world we live in and the technologies at our disposal is that you can work from home. You do not actually have to be in the office all the time. We're highly connected. We also work via WhatsApp groups as if there's something that's urgent that needs to be delivered to the office. I impose the same rules to my staff as I do to myself regarding time off because you are a human being with a multifaceted life. You don't just work. You know, you need to have a personal life, and a balanced life is really what I advocate for. And I also always tell my staff that I do not pay them for the extra hours they work. This way of life benefits me because I get to do what I need to do with my family. I'm a mother of 3, so this is very important to me. And also my staff get to have balanced lives. And to be honest, we can give so much more to the job when we do have balanced lives. You know, as a small business, that very first opportunity is always the best and the most exciting, and you don't want to lose it, and you do whatever you can to keep it. And unfortunately, underquoting was one of those things that we did. We've put in processes and criteria in place for every opportunity that we take. We are able to even let the client know that we will get back to them in a matter of hours with the correct quote, and we would be comfortable in that quote because we now have the processes in place to know exactly what we should be charging the client. Having expanded so rapidly, it really gives me comfort that the business I'm running now is the same business I founded 5 years ago. We have stayed true to our niche, and we have refined our services over time as the industry and our clients demand and as opportunity evolves, but everything is complementary to the services that we provide. And we have really remained true to our founding values, and we really look forward to many more years of this. The rules that I live by are patience. Really, it is in this line of work, you need the patience. Things do not happen as quickly as you want them to, but when they do, it's magic. And invest in yourself. You truly cannot give what you do not have. And this is very important for leaders because you also have staff looking up to you, and you also need to have looked after yourself before you can give anything to anybody. And I also believe you really have to keep living by your personal values. A strong value system really gets you a long way. As the founder and CEO of Uynadiswa, my role is to make sure that the company continues to grow. I'm really excited by the many spin-off opportunities that this company has unlocked for us, for me personally. And of course, it is to create financial freedom for myself and my family. And it really gives me great satisfaction to be able to exploit opportunities and platforms that I have access to and open them up for other people, particularly women-owned businesses. I really thrive when I'm creating good opportunities for myself and setting up even better opportunities for my staff and the people in my ecosystem, and using the platforms that I've got to create more opportunities for upcoming businesses, particularly women-owned businesses, which I'm really passionate about. I also absolutely love our graduate programs that we run because we get to create opportunities for employment for youth who sit at home unemployed, and also just to create a legacy for my children.
After the break, a young entrepreneur flies solo and megatrends shaping the world of work. Focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. If you prioritize weaknesses, you will be weak.
I used to work for Microsoft, so I'm a technical geek. And one day I saw this TV commercial about this character called Moyo, who started a business selling boerewors rolls on the side of the road, and he grew this into a multi-billion rand empire. And I thought it was based on a true story. And after I discovered it was totally fictitious, I trademarked it and I became Moyo from that day on. I can't say I was interested in food from childhood onwards, except to say perhaps I've always enjoyed eating food, but I couldn't say no, I had an interest in, for example, cooking. I just liked eating. My mother is an amazing cook. I mean, my best memories were from childhood on Sundays when, you know, the roast was on in the oven and the whole house smelled like good food. Those are the best memories. I think business was a dream for me from childhood because I can remember breaking things at home and then trying to figure out how to put them together again as a different product and try and see if I could sell that. So I think that entrepreneurial spirit, or maybe I guess the proper word is just visionary, the ability to see post what something is currently. I think that's always been with me. One of the reasons why I wrote my book was I discovered when I wanted to start my business that there weren't any books written by local entrepreneurs or South African entrepreneurs or people who look like me but have started and grown businesses. All the books I could find were written by guys from Europe who didn't have my shared lived experience. So that was tough because I couldn't refer to someone's expertise. So that's why I actually ended up saying, bugger it, I'm gonna write a book and share some of my experiences along the journey. Because I think you could learn as much from one's attempts or failures as much as you could learn from one's successes. It would be very, very difficult to find any entrepreneurs who've had success the first time round. I certainly didn't. Well, to be honest, I think I've had varying degrees of success, but I can't say on my high bar of what I think success is that I've had it the first time round, but I'm pretty certain it's on its way. I think as an entrepreneur, you always start off with a vision. You've got a route that you would like to take. But as in life, there's twists and turns. The roads are never linear. And what I've discovered and what I've actually really, really enjoyed is that the journey is actually 3 times as fun as perhaps the destination. So I've learned to look at where I am, look at where I would like to go and try and aim for that direction. But if I take a shortcut here, or maybe sometimes I take a longer route, as long as the overall path gets to where I'm going, I'm quite content with that. So I decided that I actually want to give this career that I've now had taken the proper due it deserves. So I went and I studied to become a chef. I used to work from 8 till 5 p.m. every day in my normal day job and running the restaurant. And then from 5 till midnight, I was studying to be a chef and I worked in people's restaurants. It was brutally hard. I mean, it was long hours and it's hot in the kitchen. So it's true, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. But I think that experience has rounded me and shaped me in terms of being able to communicate with staff. I can understand what their challenges are. It's given me a totally good view, a well-rounded view of the business. Voyeurs is about modern South African chow. And what that is basically looking at all that is quintessentially South African. At Voyeurs, we do modern South African cuisine. And what that is basically all that nostalgic food you grew up eating, from umngqushu, oxtail, mukhodu, and making it in a modern twist, making it relevant to today's times. And one of my favorite things is when people from all over the world rock up to our restaurants and they try something they've never tried before. Or on weekends, seeing local South Africans saying, oh man, I miss my mom's cooking and you guys just nailed it. My first book was entitled Moyo, From a Big Dreamer to Living the Dream. And I think that book was mostly about my journey, my entrepreneurial journey, what I had learned, my experiences. I'm currently working on my second book called The CEO, the Chief Entrepreneur Officer, and the subtitle being Every Business Needs a Dreamer. If I were to do it all over again, would I do it the same way? The honest truth is, I don't know. Because I think every decision I made has been situational. So I would assume even back then, or even if I do the same decisions tomorrow, the situations would either be different, or if they're the same, I would have to have courage in my convictions in knowing that the decisions I've made up till now were the ones that I made with the best intentions. My message to fellow entrepreneurs would be curious, be always curious, because I think that is what separates everybody else from being a true entrepreneur. Just figuring out things and wanting to know more. Always be willing to learn. I think that is hectically important. The second one would be, it's going to be hard. It's flipping hard being an entrepreneur. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I certainly didn't know it was going to be this damn hard. So the second thing I think you'd need as an entrepreneur is the ability to persist and continue even if everything is telling you to the contrary, everything is telling you to quit, because that's what life will do. It will beat you down to your lowest common denominator. And the trick, and the guys who do succeed are the guys who stick it out.
How does the world we live in and our changed lifestyle impact on disability claims?
The mega trends shaping the world of work today is the dawn of the digital revolution. This is affecting the way we live and the way we work. It is opening up new possibilities in industry and the world, but with it, it's also bringing a toll on our health. Another point affecting the world of work today is the general economic condition. As companies are under pressure to perform, they are ringing in efficiencies. The biggest issue with the digital revolution is that we are now living in always-on culture. So as such, we have become disconnected to ourselves, we have become disconnected from others around us, and we don't have time to tune in to our own selves to understand what's happening with our bodies. So this brings in people abandoning or neglecting to look after themselves from a health perspective. We set out to understand what is driving the change that we have seen, what are the main changes that the market is seeing, and what can be done to make this benefit more sustainable going forward. We are seeing a greater number of claimants who are high income earners, as well as younger employees. There is a change in behavior that we are seeing among claimants. There is great awareness of the benefit now, as well as there are more inquiries that are coming to our intermediaries around the benefits. Some of the key drivers that are coming out of the insights is the economy is a key impact on the benefits. Stress has become a big issue in the market, causing to increase in the benefits. The recent tax change that we saw in 2015 is also a key contributor to the awareness of the benefit among members. A key output there is that we need to focus more on preventative care as well as rehabilitation to make sure that these benefits are sustainable and we can reduce the number of claims. The survey revealed that 70% of respondents say poor lifestyle is a major cause of disability claims. This can come from poor diet, low exercises, or drinking and other lifestyle choices. On the other side, 54% of the respondents said stress is a key cause of disability claims. Most corporates are finding that the best way to manage their disability claims is to be more proactive and implement more preventative measures in the health management of employee wellness. 79% of employers say they've got a wellness program, but often it tends to be the short-term type of wellness program, the one that usually is required by medical aid schemes, and not the more holistic and more longer-term kind of employee wellness that will cover both the physical and the mental health, because that is what is actually required to cover the kind of claims that we are seeing. There is definitely a relationship between a weak economic condition and the number of disability claims. What you find in a weak economic condition is the stress related to fear of job losses, and also in the case of retrenchments where they exist, there is also pressure on the people who remain to cover the slack that was left by the people who were retrenched, and that leads to stress among those people. An area of great anxiety for most people is during a weak economic condition, people are financially stressed and, in our case, overly indebted, and this causes a lot of pressure on them that they can't handle work pressures and thereby lead to disability claims. Preventative care and rehabilitation help in the management of disability claims because actually we see that more and more employers have realized that they need to be more proactive in managing disability claims to prevent claims happening in the first place. This in turn leads to an increase in the number of disability claims and therefore costs of the disability benefits. In a normal defined contribution scheme where most employees participate and enjoy this benefit, this leads to either an increase in the cost, which reduces the amount that goes to retirement savings, or a reduction in the benefit itself that they enjoy.
Next week on Mindspace TV, a man who wishes to fix the future. If you want to run with the big dogs, maybe you need a coach. Free financial literacy education is at hand. Retirement and disability insurance made more accessible to SMEs.